Welcome back. Now, there is no shortage of advice for the Chancellor as he readies next month's budget, due exactly 2 weeks today. We're likely to hear a lot about green technology and how the move to net zero can boost the economy as it recovers from the COVID crisis. Well, the UK has been a leader in green electricity, but there remains concern about the state of the domestic energy supply market. And now the founder of the green supplier Octopus Energy says that the recent price cap increase is outrageous. Well, let's bring in Greg Jackson, Chief Executive and founder of Octopus Energy. Morning to you, Greg. Outrageous, why so?
Morning, Sam. First of all, we're in a pandemic. Households are struggling, and there are plenty who have seen hours drop, lose their jobs, lose their businesses. And the recent price cap announcements include £23 extra on the bills to pay for pandemic bad debt that we haven't yet seen. Now, the worst thing you can do if you want to help people through times like this is start putting the prices up to cover bad debt that hasn't happened.
Yeah, I mean, Ofgem said that it was about wholesale prices increase, but as you point out there, it's effectively using some customers to cross-subsidise others, isn't it? And many of those people who are doing the subsidising are people who are struggling themselves.
Yeah, exactly that, Sam. There are too many of these cross-subsidies in energy from one set of customers to another. So, not only do we have this kind of 20-odd pound increase, by the way, that's 2% extra. You were talking about inflation earlier in the programme being 0.7%. We've got 6% down to the cost of wholesale, another 2% from this preemptive approach to bad debt. Energy inflation, there's a real risk here. But on top of that, you've got the companies that are rushing to hike their prices right now by the maximum the cap will allow for their loyal customers. Meanwhile, they're still offering loss-leading tariffs for new customers. So, you've got the shocking thing where they're going to hike prices £97 for an existing loyal customer, and then they're going to be offering new customers up to £180 less than that.
But, Greg, Ofgem will say that the price cap has overall saved people money, but what you're saying is it could do better than what it's doing.
The price cap is the single greatest intervention in energy in the last decade or two. It saved over £1 billion a year, often for the households that need it most. But the way that the price cap delivers that is by Ofgem being tough on prices. And I think we would love to see the price cap being brought down over time instead of continually going up.
There's been a big shake-up, though, hasn't there, in the energy industry? I mean, a decade ago, when I was doing business news, there seemed this unshakable dominance of the big six, much like you had the big four in the banking industry. But companies like yours have really started to gain market share. And I noticed that a recent deal you did in Japan valued your company within the same kind of ballpark as Centrica, the owner of British Gas.
Yeah, look, first of all, I think we're now number 5 in the market. The concept of the big six is dead. And the government, Ofgem, should be proud to create this competitive market where companies that have got something new to offer customers have got the ability to grow and to change, to drive change. For us, I think the biggest observation is that companies have been obsessed by short-term profits. So instead of investing in the technology that will let them provide better service and lower prices for customers, and instead of investing in green energy to help tackle climate change, they've been focused on this short-termism. The valuation you see for us is the beginning, really, of what could be an incredibly exciting period for driving down energy prices by going green.
So you don't see bills becoming more expensive because of the big investment outlays that firms will have to make to shift their energy to be more green?
No, in fact, quite the opposite. Look, with green energy, with wind and with solar, there are no input costs. When we generate electricity using coal and gas, not only do we drive climate change, but you've got to pay for the coal and the gas. With wind and solar, the input costs are free. Thanks to the investment made by our government and others over the last 10, 15 years, the price of generating wind and solar is now the same and indeed increasingly lower than the price of generating from fossil fuels. Households should benefit over the next 10 or 15 years from reducing energy costs as we go green. By the way, you mentioned the budget, and I think the big thing we need to see now is beginning to reduce the taxes on electricity. I don't know whether you know, but our electricity bills have got something like 10 times the taxation, excluding VAT, of gas. And yet electricity is now, 42% of electricity is green?
So yet more for the Chancellor to be thinking about there. Greg Jackson, good to talk to you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.